ठीक है. So till now what we have done is we have done the arrays, and from today we are going to start what is asynchronous JavaScript. So today we will complete the asynchronous JavaScript, and yeah. So let's start. What is this? So like as I told you in the starting of the JavaScript, that JavaScript is a single threaded language, that it will run like it will run in a synchronous method. Ki, the first line will run, then the second line will run. Okay, it is a synchronous method, and I showed you with an example of the codes, like how how the codes in our computer work. They actually run one application at a time. In the same way, JavaScript is a synchronous language which will run a single program at a one time within a synchronous within a within line by line. Okay, so that is called as a single threaded language, all the synchronous nature of JavaScript. But we also I also told you that there are some methods that we are going to use, and we are make our JavaScript asynchronous, which means now using those methods, using those properties, we somehow are now able to create a synchronous JavaScript into asynchronous. So this image that I've shown you is basically give you a brief of that. Like synchronous means like you are running your program in a single thread. Okay, the first line will run, second line will run, third line will run. Okay, and irrespective of whether the uh, whether any program written above the line of like whether any program written on the second line is taking time or not. But what JavaScript will do, it will not wait for it, or it will not wait for that particular line to give response. What it will do, it will we will see what is I'm talking about. But it will not wait for any particular thing to wait, and it will just keep on compiling, running, and then move on to the next part. So this is how asynchronous synchronous JavaScript work. Okay, so the execution of each operation is dependent on the completion of the one before it. Okay, and so we are going to use some methods which we will see. Some are the like there are three methods that will make our this particular JavaScript something like this. So how we are going to make this, that this is our program, and we are going to create some properties that will make our synchronous that make our this particular flow looks like a asynchronous. So like this is the particular flow that is keep on going, and right, and there JavaScript compiler will see something by this is something that is making our synchronous JavaScript asynchronous. So I have to wait, or I have to shift, I have to run this code, but I have to run this particular code after some time. So like it will make it asynchronous. So the execution of one task is not dependent on the another. Okay. So this is a simple meaning of asynchronous. Okay. Uh, so there are three methods. How we are going to do that? They are known as the callbacks. Okay, and like there are three methods, and the three methods were all these method came when we have some problem in the the initial method. So like the first method that we are going to look is the callbacks. What are the callbacks and how they will make our synchronous JavaScript asynchronous? Then we will go into a problem known as the callback hell, and to solve this particular problem, we introduce promises. Okay, promises came into our into JavaScript. Now, using these promises, we are going to again make our synchronous JavaScript asynchronous, and then like we will see another problem in promises, and then we will move to the asynchronous await. So async await, which is this particular keyword, which is a third method. So these are the three methods, and like the most common method that we use today to make our synchronous asynchronous is the async await. Like the 99% developers that you will see, not 99, 95, you can say, they will either use the they will use the async await. 5% is the promises, and now like I can assure you 0% developers, or like 0.001% developers uses the callbacks. Like no one uses the callbacks because there is a common problem known as the common callback hell. So we are going to look that. Okay, let's understand how what are the callbacks and what are the how they actually work. Okay, so week 4 we are going to start week 4, and this is the index file. Okay, and this is the uh, index.js. Okay, so today we are going to run our JavaScript in the browser. So we will not use node, like we will not use the output. We will You will not see the output in this particular terminal. Why? Because these particular methods or the properties or the times or the things we are going to use, some of that methods are actually run in the browser only. Like they are not made for the Node.js, or they are not made to give the output in the terminals. Okay? So like the, as I told earlier, कि भाई something known as the prompt, which is used to take the input from the user, is not available in the Node.js. ठीक है? They are only the browser functionalities. In the same way, we are going to these methods are the browser functionalities, like some of the methods that we are going to use. That is why we are going to run our JavaScript in the browser today. So how we do that? ठीक है, अभी just understand for this, that this is an index HTML file. Whatever the things we will content right here, it will be rendered as a web page on the browser. And now here we will write our index like JS. Okay, so how we are going to connect this particular JS to our particular index.html file? So there is one tag known as the script tag. So you will write script src, and here you will place your script file. Okay, so now this particular index.js will, like in the next lecture, we are going to see how we can manipulate a particular web page. So there we will use this particular thing. But for today, we are just going to connect our JavaScript to this particular HTML. We are not going to manipulate this particular web page. We are going to look the call asynchronous JavaScript. Okay, so if I run this, let me run this. Okay, so you will see something like this. And in the console, as how you will do see this, go in and do the inspect, and do the inspect and come here on consoles. Okay, so I have already told you what are these elements, sources, network, what they do. All these are not the Chrome dev tools. Console is one thing which will help our JavaScript to run, like which will run our JavaScript in this particular browser only. Okay, so let's understand what is asynchronous. Okay, so first, let me tell you how synchronous actually looks like. A simple, very simple example. One, if you have any doubt, if you come into any doubts, you can just open your mic and ask me that. Okay, don't write, or don't write in chats. Like if you have any particular doubt, so you can ask me. Okay, we have created three functions, and we are just going to run that. Okay. And the third. So, okay, let me change content here. Okay, so now in the console you will see 1, 2, 3. Okay, how is this running? The compiler coming here, he will see function this, then he will go like he will uh, he will come to this particular code, then he will see, okay, function one is running, then I will run this 2, 3. Okay, so this is like a asynchronous. Okay, we are not doing something ki bhai, this is like asynchronous. First, the first one function is running, then two is running, third is running. Okay, so it is a simple example of the synchronous JavaScript that we actually write. Okay, now like now if I ask you a question ki bhai, I want particular this particular second function to run after third. Okay, to run after third, after a particular time of the third. Okay, so like my output should come like ki first, third, and second. So like the simple way is ki, okay bhaiya, okay, okay, like Akshat, I can what I can do is I can just place this third function after the two. Then I will see one, third, two. But this is not I am asking. This is again a synchronous nature. Okay, so whatever the thing is reading, they will run like a one by one. This is not what I am asking. What I am asking is, कि भाई, your code should look like this, but I want a function two to run after three, like after some time of like after some time three. So how we are going to make this asynchronous? So these are the something known as the callback function, which are comes under the async JS. Okay, uh, which are come under the async JS, and these are the known as the callback functions. Now, first understand what are the callback functions. Callback functions not actually are the asynchronous function. There are some types of the callback function which are by default browsers give us to make our synchronous asynchronous. But let's first understand what are the callback functions. So write me here callback. Very important, yeah, like very important for the interview. Okay, a function that accepts function as an argument. Okay, simple definition. A function. Let me write here a function. Function. What should I write? Display. Okay, and then let me write another function here. Function A and B and return the sum of the two things. Okay. Now what I am doing is I am passing sum here. Okay, and I'm passing A here or I am passing B here. Okay, and then what I will do is I will so log sum A comma B. Okay, now what is this particular thing? If I display sum A comma B, and let me give here 5. What this particular thing is, this is a particular function, and this is accepting a sum, which is a another function as an argument. This particular function in simple things is known as a callback function. Okay, as simple as that. So if you will see a third here, okay, a common behavior is known as the callback function. This is a callback function. A function that accepts argument as a function is known as the callback function. But yeah, why do we use callback functions? Like maybe like it's a concept of objectorium, like in oops, like in oops na, we write something classes and object, we write something private so that no one can access our particular methods or the particular variables or particular methods from that particular classes. Okay, so in the same way these callbacks will help us in the same way, like to protect our data integrity. So what I am doing here is if like imagine this is a particular function and this contains a very big a logic here. Okay, so how can I do this? But I want to show to the user or I want to show to the public, to the internet, only this particular thing. Okay, कि भैया you just give me the output and you will get return, like you will get something in return, but I don't want to show you the logic of that particular function. So you can use the callback function for this particular thing. You will create a function, you will make this private, and then you will use it in another function, and you will return a particular answers. Okay, that is why we use the callbacks. Like this is the this is the common thing that callbacks are used for, but not actually really, because like oops have their oops solve this problem. So but now let's understand ki why callbacks. Okay, so this is a callback function. These are known as a callback function. They are not making our synchronous JavaScript asynchronous, but there are some types of callback functions. There are some types of callback functions by default that browsers give us that will make our synchronous asynchronous. Let me comment this out. Okay, let me come back here. So what was the question? I want to run this particular third, so this particular two after third, but I don't want to change the code. What should I do? I will use a something known as the set timeout. Set timeout. What is the set timeout? Set timeout says कि भैया this is a particular browser function. This is not uh, like I have written it, but this is a something browsers by default provides us. ठीक है? What it says, let me write first. It accepts a function as an argument. ठीक है? And it accepts a second argument. ठीक है? What this particular function says? Let me bring here. Okay, so what output I want is ki third, one, one third, and then two. How will I make this? By using this set timeout function. What it says ki bhai, this particular function is known as the callback function. Why? Because it is accepting function as an argument and a second parameter, which we will talk about later. But in this function, in this function, what we will do is we will write two here. Okay, we will write two here, and we will just remove this and then okay. So now how the flow will go? Compiler will come here, it will run this, then it will encounter something known as the set timeout. It will see कि भाई यार this is something browser has provided and this particular function do asynchronous task. ठीक है? Now let's understand what does that mean. This set timeout function will run this to this particular function after 2 seconds. ठीक है? This is how we are going to make our synchronous JavaScript asynchronous. ठीक है? So this particular function will be run after 2 seconds. In those 2 seconds, we will see output one, we will see output two, and then after 2 seconds, we are going to see output like the output the function two will run. Okay, let's save this. Let's see what will happen. Let me again reload this so you can see. First will come, third will come, and now one, two, two has come. So now the output is one, third, two. How is this happening? Because we use something like an asynchronous function known as the callback function. What it do is that it run this particular function after 2 seconds. Like the 2000 milliseconds mean like after this means two, like this means 2 seconds. So like I can write here 3 seconds. So it will behave as same as that. One, third, and then the two. Okay, this is how we are going to create our asynchronous synchronous JavaScript, which was coming, which was simple as this. But now what we have done is we have made something a set timeout function, which will make our synchronous JavaScript asynchronous, and flow will come here, it will run this, it will say कि अच्छा भैया this particular function will run, I have to run this particular function after 2 seconds. ठीक है भैया, I will what I will do, I will just keep it somewhere until then I will run third whatever the code below this third. ठीक है, and after 3 seconds like it will run a clock. I will show you how it exactly works. Like I like just wait for 2 minutes. I will show you exactly how it works, and then you will see ki, bhai, what is the clock. You will actually see the clock is running on the browser, and then you will like you can see clearly. Okay. So after 3 seconds, this particular function is run. Okay. So this is how we are going to make our synchronous JavaScript asynchronous. Any doubts till now? Just write no in the chat so that we can move forward. First thing we learned is the asynchronous, sorry, the callback functions that will make our function asynchronous. ठीक है. So set timeout is the one common function. ठीक है. ठीक है. Now let's understand कि भाई हमने तो पढ़ लिया था कैसे चल रहा है, but let's understand how it actually works. ठीक है. So this is what we wrote 1 2 3, and then using set timeout, this is what we are actually doing. One, third, and then after third, this particular and the compiler start running its clock for 3 seconds, and then it showed the output after the third. Okay, so this is how the actual asynchronous is running. Okay, let's understand how it works. Okay, so just forget for now what are all these things. Okay, callback queue, event loop, API. Just see this particular thing, callback. Okay, so whenever you write something Java, whenever you will write some JavaScript code, okay, this 1 2 3, okay. Let me show you an example. Loop, live event website, okay. A very good website that will show you how asynchronous JavaScript actually works behind the scenes. Okay, let's say, okay, let's copy this code again, whole code. Let's copy this. So this is a asynchronous JavaScript code. This is a asynchronous JavaScript code. Okay. So how it's like how JavaScript run this? There is something known as the call stack. Okay. There is something known as the call stack in our browsers. What they do is, as soon as they will the compiler run this code, as soon as the compiler will come here, they will place this particular thing in the call stack, and call stack is responsible to run these particular things. Like call stack is something like, ki, bhai, whatever the things will come inside me, my responsibility is to run them. As simple as that. Okay. Within 1 second, within a millisecond, I will run them. The only responsibility call stack is whatever the things will come inside this, it will run this. So this is a asynchronous code. Okay? This is a synchronous code. So how it will do? If I run this, so what you will see? One is coming, console log dot one. Okay? Two is coming, console log dot two. Three is coming, and you will see the output three. Okay? Let me rerun this. So one is coming one, two is coming two, and in the three you will see three running. Okay? So like this is a synchronous JavaScript. So callstack is responsible for कि भैया whatever things will come inside me, I will run them. Okay? Whatever things will come inside me, I will run. Now let's see what is this particular set timeout function. Okay? How is this making our code asynchronous? Okay? Okay. Now before running this, let me show you what will happen, and then I will show you कि how is this happening. Till now we knew कि भैया a code is running is like a one will come, two will come, and the three will come. Now what will happen? One will come here. It will bring this particular function in call stack, and call stack is, as you know, is responsible to run the particular thing. So it will run this. As soon as it will bring this particular thing call stack. Call stack will say कि यार this is a browser functionality the browser provides me, known as the web API. Whatever the things browser provides us are known as the web APIs. APIs, I will tell you later, but just known as this is some kind of a web functionality that a browser provides us. Okay? So as soon as this particular thing will go in call set will say कि भैया this is a web API and I don't have to run this. What I will do, I will like this will make our code asynchronous. So what I will do, I will transfer this code to the web API call stack. Okay? This is a call stack to run a JavaScript code, but there is another thing known as the web APIs that consists of all the web APIs that are present in the browser. So this is the one API that we are using. There are another APIs that we will use in the future. Okay? Which we will look, but this is the one API. So what it will say, as this particular function will come here, it will see कि भैया this is a web API. I don't have to do anything with that. Like my responsibility is to run that particular thing, but I don't have to do anything with that. I will transfer this to particular web API, and then web API or the browser will handle this particular thing. Okay? Then let's see what happens next. I will say save and run. Let's see what happens. You will see one console log. As soon as the set timer will come here, it will say, let me pause it. Pause. Yeah. Now let's see what is happening right now. One came here, one ran. Okay? We see the output, one coming in our browsers. Okay? As soon as the set timeout came, it will say, अरे भाई ये तो it is a browser functionality. Let me send it to something known as the web API. This particular set timeout was trans. Okay, it is got removed. Let me run this again. One came, console log one, and as soon as the set timeout came, okay. Now if I resume it, you will see this particular thing will go here, and you will see a clock running. Clock of 3 seconds is running on this particular thing. Okay. So this is how web API will understand, okay, this is a set timeout function and this will make our JavaScript asynchronous. What it will do, it will run a clock for 3 seconds, and then after it will running that 3 second clock, it will send that particular function to the callback queue. I will understand, like I will told you what is callback, I will tell you what is callback queue. But let's resume this. So as you can see, that particular function came here and it is running a clock. Okay? Now let me show you what is happening. Okay? So um, so as soon as the clock of 3 seconds, like it will like run for 3 seconds. So what it will do after running it for 3 seconds, this particular function can't direct see everything. Eventually when we have to run that particular thing, call stack will only responsible to run that thing. Okay? Whenever we are showing something in the output, call stack is the responsible to show that particular output in our browsers. So I want this particular function to be run, okay? But I have make this in a set timeout. This particular clock will run. Web API will transfer it after running this. After the clock will gets over, it will transfer this to callback queue. Now, what is callback queue? As I told you that it directly, like it can't directly send it to callback stack back again. What it do is it send this particular code to something known as the callback queue. What is callback queue? Callback queue is something that that waits for this particular call stack to be empty. कि भाई जब जैसे ही ये कॉल स्टैक एम्प्टी होगा, मैं जो भी मेरे अंदर कॉल 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 बैक क्यू के अंदर है, मैं उसको जैसे ही एम्प्टी होगा मैं उसको ट्रांसफर कर दूंगा इस कॉल स्टैक के अंदर. ठीक है, दिस इज व्हाट इज एक्चुअली हैपनिंग हियर. तो इफ आई सेव प्लस रन दिस वन, कंसोल लॉग वन इज कमिंग, set timeout came, it went here, clock is running, 3 is coming and 3 got output. Now you see, like if I run this again, I will pause this and it will go in callback queue. ठीक है, so let me pause this. The timer starts. Till that time the timer starts, as we know कि भाई JavaScript do not stop. ठीक है, JavaScript, like compiler has transferred it to something else. It will like run will it will run whatever is afterwards this particular code. So it has run three. ठीक है, it has run three also. So one, it is being sent to this particular function, and now as you can see, three came here and three got run. Okay, now resume. Clocks will get over, and now you will see after the clock will get over, it will send this to particular callback queue. Now callback queue is is a waiting something known as the waiting room. Like for doctors, you will if you go to a doctor, there you will have a waiting room. Okay, that will कि भाई when the doctor will free, it will see, like they will see you. ठीक है, तो in the same manner callback is something known as the waiting room. It will be continuously scanning this particular call stack, and we'll see as soon as this particular call stack will become empty, I will transfer this particular function to this particular call stack. How is this happening? This is happening through this event loop. This is something, the arrow thing is you are showing here, this is known as the event loop. Event loop is responsible for keep on checking कि whether the callback is empty. नहीं है, callback रुक जाओ अभी. Whether the callback again is empty. नहीं है. As soon as it will get empty, it will run and it will transfer this particular thing to a call stack. So if I pause this, if I resume this again, what you will see, अभी नहीं हो रहा. Okay, हाँ, so as you can see, like it ran, and then you will see a console log of 2. Okay, this is how. Let me show you the last time. One run, set timeout came, it came to web API, clock ran, callback queue, and this particular event loop then run. This is known as the event loop. Okay, as simple as that. Any doubts in this thing? Now you understood how the asynchronous thing is happening, because there is something known as this particular whole architecture that will make our synchronous asynchronous. Okay, this is how it actually works. So let me go to the back PPT, and this is what I have actually. This diagram says the same. This is a call stack. Call stack is responsible to run all these particular things, whatever the things we will see, and then uh, it will see set timeout. It will take it here. This is known as the web API. Web API will like initialize a clock, and as soon as the clock will get over, it will send this to particular callback queue, and this particular event loop will keep on checking on call stack कि भैया this is empty or not. नहीं है, ठीक है, let me again run myself and let me again check कि भाई this is empty or not. As soon as it is empty, the callback queue will like the callback particular task, whatever the thing in the callback, it will get run. ठीक है, why? Because eventually callback will be running, call stack will be running all your operations. ठीक है, as simple as that. So this is how the behind the scenes of this particular simple 10 lines of code. ठीक है, this is how we are going to create a synchronous JavaScript asynchronous. Interesting, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज थी ये. ठीक है, मतलब अच्छा लगता है. तो फिर अब डाउट आ सकता है ना एक दिमाग में कि यार भैया अगर सोचो कि वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ कोड बिलो दिस. ठीक है, एंड एज यू टोल्ड मी कि आफ्टर when callback stack will be like call stack will be empty, then only whatever things in the callback queue will run. तो भैया ये तो कभी हो सकता है कि जैसे कोई हमने एक फंक्शन बनाया है जो कि है 3 seconds का, एंड वी विल wait for 3 seconds to run that particular function, but what we are actually seeing कि that is taking 10 seconds. Because why? Like it can take more than 3 seconds to run. Why? Because maybe till that time a call stack is not empty and the particular task is in this particular callback queue only. So like this is a very, very valid question. Like in terms of uh, what we've learned till now, it is very good question. Okay, this can come up to your mind, but like the things not actually work like this. Like they run the thousands like of code within the milliseconds. So like you won't see any this type of thing in your particular applications. So okay, so this is the one thing how we are. This is the very basic how we are going to make our synchronous asynchronous. This is the behind the scenes. Okay. Okay. What was the second thing? Okay. Why they are not used? Because there is something known as the callback hell. Let's understand what is the callback hell. Okay. Now imagine I have the proper way of writing a asynchronous is to I have made something one set timeout. It will take a function. Okay. Let's name this function as. Then what if like there are 3 4 functions and I want to run them is asynchronously, but one after the other. So what I can do is I can write something the set timeout function, and then what I can do is I can console.log one, and then I will again write a function here. Again I will write a set timeout function here. Okay, and then again I will write here another function, and let's again give a 2 seconds timeout, and let's console log 2. Okay, and then what if I want something another function this inside it. So function. Okay, so what you're seeing here, let me comment this. You are seeing a set timeout function will console log this, but after 2 seconds it will console log this and it will run this particular function set timeout. Then this particular function will run this and it will run this function, and then this will run this. Let's see what is happening. After one, two, one came, one, two, two came, one, two, three came. Okay? This is a very good code. This is a asynchronous code that we write here. कि भाई, I want something to be run to after some time of one. कि like one will run and then two will run. Okay? After some time of one. This is a very asynchronous like this is a good code of writing asynchronous, but like this is showing us asynchronous behavior. But can't you see something very big confusion here कि भाई यार ये क्या है set timeout के अंदर एक तो set timeout एक तो set timeout. This is known as the callback hell. This is known as the callback callback hell. Okay, and this is not should we should write code because if someone else is seeing our code, he will get confused कि भाई what is this particular thing that we are writing here. Okay, this is known as the callback hell. That is a major problem when we write callbacks, and that is why no one uses the callback like the callback functions. Like the set timeout is a very good function of callback, but if we want to make our particular code that has some functions like asynchronous like a function like here, if I wanted this particular function to be asynchronous, and what if there are more functions than this that will should run after this particular two function, then what I will do, I will write a set timeout again and again inside this particular thing, so they will make our synchronous asynchronous, but this will lead to a in a callback hell. Okay, this is what we don't want in a particular thing. So that is why we don't use callbacks, because they lead to a callback hell. Any doubts still here? ठीक है. Okay, the one important thing is the what is callback, and what, like no will one ask you कि भाई why they are not used or what is callback here, but just they will ask you in interview how callback will make our synchronous code asynchronous. Let's understand what are the promises and better why they are better than callbacks. And of course, they will make our the one problem we are getting is the syntax problem. One of the major problem is the getting with the syntax problem. Of course, they will make our syntax more clear. Let's see how they will make this. Okay. So what are promises? So promise is a something a particular, if I told you a browser functionality, okay, a particular keyword that is already defined in this, like that is the already defined, like we write new, okay, like the constant is the particular keyword that is used to derive the variable. In the same way, we define promises. How we define that? We define something new as known as the, like if this is a username, new promise. This is how we define the function new promise. Okay? This is how we define the function new promise. Let me remove this. This particular promise has two things in this. First is the, it takes another, like it takes the function as well. This particular promise will take the function as an argument, and this particular function has two things in this. First is the resolve, and second is the reject. I will, don't worry what is this reject, don't worry what is this, uh, what is this particular thing, but let we will see, don't worry it. Resolve, this is resolve. Okay. Now let me, so log, this is resolve. Okay, let's understand what I have right till now. See, there is one problem. We were not talking about, we were talking about how to make our synchronous asynchronous. Okay. Right now we talked about कि भाई, we want this particular thing to be done after some time. Okay. But there is something known as the error handling that we have to always check in our code कि भाई, the particular function, like the function that we will write in our particular JavaScript code in the future, or the functions that we write, are they actually working correct or not? Imagine the particular code JavaScript compiler came here. It will see by this is a set timeout function. It will run the clock for the particular time, and then it will come back in the callback queue. Okay. Now we don't want something कि भाई, in between whole that process, that particular function, if that particular function is not correct, or if that particular function is returning a correct value, then it should be, like it should get destroyed in between in this particular thing. So we somehow want to create a some type of particular phenomena so that we can create or we can catch that particular error that we are getting in that particular function. This is known as the error handling in simple ways. That in simple, like if you're done the any other coding problem, like any other programming languages, what do you write? You write your code in the like if your particular code gives error, then throw a new error. This is something you have maybe written in your, like try something like the try catch something. Okay, like this is you, here you will write your code. Here you will write code main. Here you will write your main code, and this, if this particular code comes into an error, it will, this particular cache thing will cache that particular error, and then it will show the error. Okay. This is what we are talking about, the error handling. This is how we are handling our errors in the asynchronous JavaScript. Why? Because majorly we will be working with the APIs. We will be working with the types of function that that will actually returns us something, whether it's a data, or maybe if that particular function did not get run, they should return कि भाई something is wrong with that function while working with the asynchronous thing. Okay. If we do not make this, if we do not make that particular function asynchronous, then we eventually will not get the output, but somehow we want something output, so that we can like show it to our users, or that we can ourselves can predict कि भाई something is wrong with that particular function or promise, like or a particular API. ठीक है? So the simple in simple terms, we want something known as the error handling. What this particular promise provides is the error handling capabilities. It says something कि भाई this is a particular function, ठीक है, and it takes two parameters, resolve and reject. What you will say कि भाई if whenever you will run this promise, whenever you will like run this promise, this particular promise will give you data. ठीक है? Either it will resolve this particular function, or either it will reject this particular function. Reject means कि भाई this particular function did not get run. ठीक है? This particular asynchronous function gave me some errors. Now I want to get that particular error, right, so that I can what I can do, so that I can like I can make it correct, or I can show it to the users कि भाई what is the actual problem happening here. This is you will more understand when we will talk about the APIs, and when we will talk about like how we do the communication, how we actually do the error handling. But just understand for now that for every that there is a just for in simple manners, there is a function. Okay, this particular function is a promise that returns two things, either resolve or reject. Right now we are resolving this particular thing, this is resolved. Now whenever we define the promise, whenever we define a promise, we define a function that is a promise. This particular promise will how now this is returning this resolve and reject part. Okay, so now how we are going to catch that? If I remove this and if I save this, what you will see, you will see nothing here. Okay, so now like like in lame manner, we have to cache this particular resolve. We have to cache means we have to uh, show the output and this particular like show the output of this particular thing. How we can do that? We can do that with the then method. Okay, so this particular promise returns two things, dot then and dot catch. Okay, what this particular promise is a, let me explain in a simple terms. This particular promise is a function. Okay, that resolves that is an asynchronous function that resolves two things, resolve and reject. Okay, now if this particular function is correct, okay, if this particular function has returned me something, I will cache that particular data with dot then keyword, as I have shown you here. And if that particular thing did not give me an like it gave me an error, so how I am going to cache that error? I am going to cache that error with the dot username dot cache. ठीक है? Console.log. What I'm data is what data I am doing here, that data whatever the resolve method will give us. Okay, so understand what is the problem we are solving here. The problem we are solving here is the error handling plus the syntax, also. Like in this manner, we can this is the callback function we are handling. First, it did not have a error handling in this. Second, it is making our code very like a making our code in a very hodgepodge manner. Okay, how we are going to solve this? We just have to create a promise, a particular function that will resolve or reject, and this particular after this particular function, then we can write that other promises as well. So I will create a new promise here. Okay, I will create a new promise, and then I can after that new promise, I can use I can either cache that, or either I can dot then using the particular I will show the output. Okay, so this is how things work. So let me so right now we are what we are. This is resolved. Why? Because as we have told, but this is resolved as we have given the result. What if I will write here reject? Reject. Okay. So now you will see dot catch will always catch the reject part of this particular promise, and it will show the data. So this is this is not result. Okay. As you can see here it says this is not resolved. Okay. Now that particular thing is not coming. Why? Because what I write here, I wrote here resolve, but the catch, but dot catch only shows the reject part here. Okay, this is how we can write the promises. And if I tell you ki how we can make this clear, then this particular one function that we wrote here, we make this a promise. Okay, we make this a promise, we wait for this particular thing to return, then after that we can write two function, and after that we can write third function. Now what will happen, javascript is will be wait for this particular thing to return. Okay, it will not do something like ki bhai, I will run this, I will not wait for this particular function to return me something, I will then run two, and then I will run three. No, it will not do this. It will wait for this particular one to return. After that, when I will get something after one, then it will uh, run this two, and then it will run this three. Okay, this is how it actually works, and this is how we are doing it with the help of the promises. That clear? Any doubts still here? Like this is a little bit complex concept. Don't worry. Just maybe if you are getting into an error again, then watch this again, understand this again later in the like after the class, you will understand. Because I myself, like I was when I was learning it for the first time, like I मेरा तो मतलब बहुत ही देर में समझ आया था कि भाई एक्चुअली में होता क्या है, व्हाट आर दीज प्रोमिसेस एंड व्हाट आर दीज थिंग्स एंड कॉलबैक्स एंड async await. So like at for a long time I I was using these promises called async await or the callbacks in my code without actually knowing कि भाई what they are actually doing to my particular code. बस मैं use करता था उनको, and somehow they get run, somehow I used to get the results, but without actually knowing कि भाई how they are actually working. Any doubts? एक बार like I have something, I have a very good video यार on YouTube. Like if you, how do I show you? Open my, I used to make videos in my second year when I, so like you can go to my playlist. Like this is a normal YouTube. So like you will get here a asynchronous JS, and then here you will see ki bhai all the what are callbacks, asynchronous to JS. Again, like if you want to see them in short period, then what is callback and what are the promises, how they resolve callback. So you will see here ki bhai actually.
लड़की वाले आते ही भाग जाते। अरे अक्षय बेटा इतना बढ़िया लड़का है पर कुंवारा, कुंडली में तो कोई दोष नहीं दिखता।
ठीक है, so like I have made the videos for that.
वाह इतना
If you don't
दिमाग
want to, if you
नजर ना
don't
लगे
want to see the
रेडी वाले
recording,
इतनी
you
धूप
can
दुपट्टा
just
तो
go
लगा लो
here and
नजर तो लग
see
गई
this particular
यानी
क्या
धूप
ऐड
की
किया होगा.
डलनेस गया नहीं
ठीक है, ठीक है. So let's we have talked about the promises. Any doubt till now? You can ask me. I will share the playlist of this particular asynchronous JavaScript in my in your groups, so that you can just within 30 minutes you can go through the asynchronous JavaScript. Because believe me, asynchronous is very important for the interview purposes at least. If you're not creating something with it, yes. These are predefined. These are predefined. I guess. I really don't know these are predefined, but I think yes, these are predefined promises. Let's see whether these are. I think these are predefined. These are very- So you can see that with this diagram, pending, initial state, neither, rejected, resolve outer, resolve outer. Let's resolve set timeout. ठीक है. Let's write here something else. Resolve R, R is for resolve, and RJ for catch. RS RJ. ठीक है. I think they are not resolved. Let's see. Let me run this again. Yeah, they are not reserved. So basically, if I make this RJ, okay, and if I make this RS, will I get the output? No, I'm not getting the output. And if I make this dot, then will I get the output? Yes, I'm getting the output. Why is that? Okay, so they are not reserved. Okay, they are not reserved, but the way you define them here, like the first parameter, whatever the you will define, it will always work as resolve, and the second parameter you will define, it will always work as reject. Okay? So like you can't change it here, you can't write something reject uh, or resolve, so you will have to define this. Okay? Clear? Okay. Let me show you a diagram as well. Okay, this is a promise. Okay, and believe me, you will, when we will work with the APIs now, you will see कि भाई what is this fulfill reject. So this promise either will fulfill your request or reject your request. If we want, if whatever the, if this promise fulfill, like whatever the thing I'm telling you, if this promise fulfills your request, which means it give you a response, we are going to catch that with dot then, and if it is not, then we are going to catch that with dot catch. Here you can see is dot catch. Okay, then we can perform asynchronous actions here also. So like in this example, what they have done is कि भाई they are performing, they are making a promise. Okay, what which is in itself as a asynchronous task. Why? Because this promise will either return resolve or reject after some time, and then in that particular thing also we can use the asynchronous, like the callback functions. Okay, callback function set timeout. So this is how we, this is how the diagram looks like, and this is what I have shown you. Okay, let's understand quickly. 5 minutes left. What is async await? Why they are important? Okay, why they're better than callback? Understood? Because we do not have error handling in them. Second, they make up syntax very clear. We just have to define promises, and using dot then dot catch, we are going to catch those all things. Okay, as simple as that. Now let's talk about the. Let me make right here. Back it again. Resolve. Let me. Okay. What is async await? Let me write first. Write the constant data await function get data of asynchronous constant. Let's see what we are getting here. We are not getting any here. What? Why is that? Because resolve, and then we are waiting for that. I don't know why. Let me show you how like async await, how they work. Resolve after 2 seconds. It will give you a resolve. This is what we are doing, right? Why yesterday? Why? Okay, okay, sorry. I think we have to return it also. So we have to do something. Return here. Action. Return. Like I don't use, I use asynchronous, but like this is the confusion I'm getting because of this particular, like this is how not we are going to use async await a lot of times. We are going to use them because of like the in the APIs. Okay, let me copy this whole thing. Let me show you. Let me understand, make you understand this particular code only. Okay. So what is this saying is async. Okay, calling. Okay, let's see what is this happening here. So What is happening here is that we let me remove this. Let me remove this particular set timeout. Let me comment out this out. Okay. 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 So what is this happening is that um, I have to remove the set timeout also because I want this particular thing to be resolved. ठीक है now I will see the result ठीक है okay now let's understand ठीक है this is a function ठीक है and as I told you that this particular function uh, has a promise ठीक है that will either resolve or reject ठीक है so till now we have learned two things either we can resolve this using dot then either we can resolve reject this like either we can get the data using dot catch ठीक है there is another method known as the async await ठीक है now what this particular problem solve is that this is again a very confusion thing or a very hectic thing to write this particular code again ठीक है कि भाई this particular promise returns me two things dot then dot catch we have to write dot then dot then dot catch ठीक है as simple as that async await will make our program will make our code look more like a in a short manner what we are doing here this will return a promise we know this particular function is returning a promise what is promise I told you by this is return two things कि whether that particular promise is fulfilled or rejected ठीक है now as soon as we will call this particular function we know कि by this particular function will return a promise here now imagine if this particular function is taking time as as there was a set timeout function writing right so what it is doing it is returning this particular resolve method after 2 seconds okay now javascript what why we are writing await here what await will do await will say like javascript will say कि भाई I have to wait for this particular thing to return me something only after that I will console log I will not do something like this. Ki I will not wait this for I will not wait this like I will not wait for this particular thing to return me something, and then I will like I don't want to wait, and then I will go on to the next part. No, why async await are used because we want to wait for this particular promise to return me something, and only that I will show that particular output. Now, using dot then using dot catch, they were doing the same thing. They were doing the same thing, but this particular again the problem is that maybe you will get confused okay this is a another problem where you return a promise and that promise is returning me more than two resolves okay this returning more than two responses so what do I have to do like a function a particular function and then I have to write something less dot then and then again dot then and then again dot catch okay this is how we were used to solve the promises okay this is known as the promise chaining that is also known as the promise chaining that will make your code look hodgepodge okay that is why we use the await what await will do await will say कि भाई wait for me something to return this particular thing I will see in console and then maybe like if this again returning if this again returning something like if this again giving me something after a particular time I will what will I will do I will write await again and then the result part and then the result part okay and then I will take this in console and then I will output this in console as simple as that as simple as that okay as simple as that so is this more clear or is this something clear ki why you write something dot then a function and then in that particular function you will write again dot then and then particular function this is known as the promise chaining okay so to make that particular code more cleaner we use something known as the async await so how we write that we write that using the async so we have to first declare our function as the async as soon as we will declare our function async we have to write our await imagine if this await thing I'm writing without the async it will give me an error कि भाई you are using the await which is a asynchronous phenomena you have to write you have to mention this particular function known as the async, known as the async. Understood? What we are doing? We are doing the exactly same thing. We are catching the particular resolved part, but dot then is the more like a not good, not a good, not so good way. So what we are writing? We are writing something known as the await, async await, which will make our code more cleaner. So this is the simple thing that we are. Isn't it the synchronous ability? What is like what particular thing?
Yep. So in the code, till we get the result at 64, uh, it won't process 65th line,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
In that case, isn't this called as line by line execution or synchronous?
Right, 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 right. So, like as I have told you, कि भाई the call stack, the particular call stack does not wait for anything. ठीक है? But now what we are doing here, the particular call stack will not wait for anything. It will come here. It will not wait for particular things. But imagine this particular. This is a see. This is how this is how this is. We are making asynchronous. The one task is okay. The maybe the confusion you are getting is ki the one thing we understood in the previous slide, the execution of one operation is dependent on the completion of one before it. Okay, this is the one thing that asynchronous has. But take this in another way. Take this in another way. In what way? That the code we have written, it is running one by one, one by one, one by one. That is the asynchronous nature. Okay? Don't take this as ki bhai something is written before it, like a something is returning it. It will get run after that particular thing. No, it will not wait. That is why I told you the concept of call stack. Call stack will not wait for anything. Call stack, as soon as the something will come here, it will run this. Okay? And now what is happening here, maybe this particular thing is returning me a very like a kind of data that I have to use. Without using that data I can't move forward, so I have to make this wait. I have to make this wait. I have to make my particular code, particular compiler to wait ki bhaiya wait for my return, like wait for my response. Then only you move forward, because if you will move forward you will get into an error, or get into, like, if you don't want something, any other output. That is why this is how we are making this particular thing asynchronous. Ki bhai we are not actually uh, running in a running in a thread, one by one by one by line by line. What we are doing here, what we are doing here, we are waiting this particular thing for a second. Okay, understood? Maybe if you don't get the point, if you get the point what I'm trying to say. The point here is not this ki bhai the question is right ki bhai as I have told you, as I have told you ki bhai this will run code line by code, like this will run line by line. And as I have told you ki bhai the one thing before it should run. Okay, it should get run, but don't take this particular thing in that way. In this particular thing, take this way ki bhai asynchronous will keep on running. It will not wait for anything. But as soon as it will see ki bhai this is something we are using await, and I have to wait for this particular thing. So I have to wait, because there is something after that I want to use that response in a in some features. Okay, that is why we are waiting for this particular response or a promise to resolve with this particular thing. As soon as we will resolve this, we will get the output. That is why they were using the set timeout here. So let me show you an example. And let me working. Now you see working, like the working after result, right? After result, console.log before result. Okay. Now you will see the before result, but after 2 seconds resolved, and then after you will see the after result. So the JavaScript stopped here. The compiler stopped here. Only when I will get the response from this particular thing. Only that after I will move on to the next line 68, 69 in this particular function. Okay, in this particular function. So How we're doing that? We're doing it with the help of the asynchronous. Like the async, we define this particular function to be asynchronous. Why? Because call stack here, the call stack I defined here, this is now waiting. This is now waiting to run things. This will say, "Bhai, I want to run this particular function before this particular function." Okay. So how we are in simple language, we are making this asynchronous. This is not a synchronous task that is running line by line, like it is running line by line, but this is not running like a, like it will not wait for something to return. Okay, understood? Understood. This is a very good, this is a very, yeah, important concept. Okay, like you will understand these when you will write code yourself, and you will more look on the blogs and these articles, when you will more get into those things. But this is how we do the async await, a simple method to write the promises. Okay. Now time is up. I think time is up. If there is any doubt, we have covered the asynchronous JavaScript. This is the asynchronous JavaScript. That's it. That's it. Callbacks, promises, async await. I will give you the playlist again. I will give you the playlist of my YouTube channel. Go that, watch that again. Within 30 minutes, you will understand all these things. Okay? So uh, yeah, this is I have told you, and now we are going to. Yeah, any doubts?
I have one question.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the code, let's say, in place of the 67, instead of awaiting for a function, let's say there is one API, weather API or some ABC API.
Ha, 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 ha.
Let's say we replicate the same 67 for 4 times, which means we are calling 4 different APIs, let's say.
Ha, ha.
So will the control execution go from 67 to 68 only after the first
Yes, yes,
API?
yes, yes. After that only. After that only. This, but let's see, let's see whether it will go or not. Let me write here it again. Let's see now. This is how you have to do, like you have to try yourself. These all those things. Okay, let me show res one. Let me res one, res two. Like if I like uh if you want to go, like the Mudit and Divyanshi, if you understood the things, you can go. I can, like I'm solving doubts. Okay, so have a nice day. You can go if you want to go. Okay, they all resolving the same thing. Like what should we do? We should do after. Let's see whether it will give or not. Let me create a 3 second here. Okay, and let me save here 4 seconds. 3, 4. Okay, I tried. Let me change my set timeout function here also. 3. Yeah. Now, what should we do with something? We will do console.log res1. Okay, and then here we will do console.log res2, and there here console.log res3. Let's see what happens. Let's first dry run this, assuming what we have learned till now. This will go here. This will wait for this particular function to return something, because what, why, we are using the promises. This will return the resolved part. Await will always return the, like await will resolve the whatever the thing you are resolving. So we are resolving one, resolving two, resolving three. Okay, this will return the resolved. Okay, we are not outputting it, and then it will go here. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, let's make this all below, and let's change console.log one, this one. This is what you are saying, Naveen, right? This is what you
Right.
are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. So if I do refresh, It is not return. Yeah, 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 yeah. ठीक है, ठीक है. Understood. ठीक है. So now it will wait for this particular thing. Then it will go here. It will wait for this particular thing. It will go here. It will wait for this particular thing. ठीक है. Then after that you will get the result. So if I do console.log here, so log res one. So you will get, I think, get the result here only. So if I remove this, okay, let's see what happens. 2 seconds resolved. After 3 seconds resolve two. After 4 seconds resolve three. Understood?
Yeah, here I got like completely confused. So if I just remove the async await part and call these functions directly, the same would be the output, right?
Uh, then I think it will not return. I think it will not return it. What it will say, because see, this will take some time to return, but as soon as this particular thing will come here, it will not wait for this, right? So it will console this log. It will log this rest one. So maybe it will give some error, or maybe it will do something else. Let's see it also. What is saying? Yeah. So as you can see, you can see promise pending, promise pending. ठीक है. Like you can see here, it is not getting us, like it is not returning the what, it is not returning what is the promise, like what is the promise in that particular thing. What it is it is returning, it is returning the whole promise. Because why? Because we are not waiting for that particular promise to be resolved, right?
Okay.
Yeah, if I refresh this, now you see, now you like you within a millisecond you will see all the results. Okay, before,
Correct.
after came. Because why? We are not waiting for this particular function, for this particular promise to get resolved. Okay, if I do here await, now what await will do? So why it is giving error? Because we have to make this function asynchronous also. We have to tell the node.j, like the compiler, ki bhai, this is a asynchronous function. So now it is, now what it will do, it will wait, it will come here and it will wait. Okay bhai, now I will wait. And then if I refresh this, before result 1 2 resolved, and then
Got it.
right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. ठीक है. तो मतलब this is like you have to do things, right? You have to create questions yourself, and then you have to run them. That is the only solution I can only teach you. Okay, because I do not, like, I know, like, I myself don't know all the questions, like don't know all the answers. This is how we do things. This is how we do debugs. Like Naveen has asked me ki bhai, are the resolve and the reject keyword reserved? Then I didn't knew that, like I was not sure whether they are reserved or not. So you go on, like you write code and then you try to change them. And then he asks ki bhai, what if we write these particular lines 2 3 times, either they will wait or either they will give us the return. So they will wait. The first thing will wait, then the second thing will wait, then the third thing will wait. So this is how, like, things happening. So you have to just keep on trying or keep on writing code. I think this is it. In the next lecture, we are going to learn about the APIs and how, by what are the things we have learned, what are the promises or async await, how we are going to actually use them using these particular APIs. Because in like in 2 3 minutes, like in a 2 3 sentences, what I can tell you is API is some, like API is, just remember, API is just something that will is a type of function or type of a thing that will return you something. And the particular data that you are getting from the API will always take time. Okay, will always take time. We will understand what API actually is in the tomorrow. But these API will actually take some time to return me something. Okay, so whatever the data I am getting from an API, imagine this is a API. So whatever data I am getting from an API, I have to use the data in my code. Okay, but now if we are not using await, or not, if we are not using the dot then, okay, then it will it will like what it will do, it will not wait for this particular function to return or particular API to give me a response. It will directly log that particular console of the output. That is why we have learned the async await, a very very important concept. Okay, and a very very important concept for the interview. This is I am telling you right now. Just please go through the call asynchronous JavaScript. ठीक है, so now ठीक है यार, what time हो गया आज? 7:20. I hope you liked the session today, and then we are going to continue tomorrow. You can leave now. If doubts, you can ask.